Greek mythology is one of the most enduring stories ever told. It's had a profound impact on Western civilization, influencing art, literature, culture, language, and even science. But what makes these ancient tales so captivating? Why do we still tell them today? Well, in this episode of our podcast, we explore the timeless journey through Greek mythology. Join us as we take a chronological look at some of the most famous myths and uncover what makes them so compelling even today. Welcome to the channel. So when we think of Greek mythology, we often imagine epic battles between gods and monsters, tales of love and betrayal, and stories of courage and adventure. But did you know that these myths actually offer a fascinating glimpse into the history of humanity itself? You see, Greek mythology is more than just a collection of fantastical stories. It's a reflection of our journey to understand the world around us. The earliest myths are often connected to the natural world, reflecting the ancient Greeks' observations of the forces of nature. As they watched the sun rise and set, they saw a fiery chariot racing across the sky, and so they created the myth of Helios or Apollo driving his chariot. When they witnessed the changing seasons, they imagined a mighty boar, the aurochs, roaming the earth, and when they saw a shooting star, they believed it was a fallen hero from Olympus. These myths weren't just stories, they were attempts to explain the unexplainable, to make sense of a world that was often chaotic and unpredictable. They were also a way for ancient humans to connect with each other, to share their experiences, and create a sense of community. By telling and retelling these stories, the ancient Greeks passed down their knowledge and understanding of the world to future generations, ensuring that their culture and traditions would live on. So let's join them on this timeless journey through Greek mythology. But before we dive in, remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Myths of the first beings. In the very beginning, there was nothing but a vast, unending darkness. Then came the first beings, the Titans. Gaia, the personification of the earth, emerged from the primordial chaos, followed by her consort, Uranus, the embodiment of the sky. Together, they formed the first couple, and from their union came the first gods, the Titans. Kronos, the leader of the Titans, was destined to overthrow his father and become the ruler of the cosmos. However, when Uranus revealed his plan to keep Kronos imprisoned on a faraway island, Gaia devised a plan to outsmart her husband. She convinced her daughter Rhea to feed Kronos a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes, pretending it was their youngest son. Then she sent the real child away to be raised in secret. When the ruse was discovered, Kronos, enraged by his father's deceit, castrated him and scattered his blood across the earth. From this act of rebellion, a new generation of gods was born. The Olympians, led by Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, prepared for a fierce battle with the Titans, a conflict known as the Titanomachy. With the help of their giant allies, the Gigantomachy, the Olympians won the war and claimed victory over the Titans. They divided the cosmos among themselves, with Zeus ruling the heavens, Poseidon controlling the seas, and Hades claiming the underworld. The origin of humanity. Now that the gods had established their dominion over the cosmos, it was time to create mortals. But who would be the first humans to inhabit the earth? Enter Prometheus and Epimetheus, two brothers who are tasked with shaping the destiny of humanity. Prometheus, the embodiment of forethought, was clever and cunning. He was responsible for creating the first humans out of clay, and gifting them with fire, which gave them the ability to cook their food, stay warm, and protect themselves from predators. Prometheus was also responsible for bringing civilization to the early humans, teaching them how to build houses, plant crops, and create tools. But what about his brother, Epimetheus, the embodiment of hindsight? His role in the creation of humanity was not as clear. Some versions of the myth say that he helped Prometheus create the first humans, while others claim that he tried to stop Prometheus from giving fire to the humans. What's certain is that Epimetheus would play a crucial role in the origin story of another human, Pandora. According to Hesiod, the creator of the first woman, Epimetheus was tricked by the god Hermes into accepting a jar containing all the evils of the world. When he opened the jar, the evils flew out and spread across the earth. Only hope remained trapped inside. This act of curiosity and disobedience would have a profound impact on the future of humanity. The deluge. With humanity now inhabiting the earth, the gods looked down on their creation with amusement. They watched as the humans struggled to survive, build civilizations, and make sense of the world around them. But as the humans grew in number and power, the gods became increasingly concerned about their impact on the natural world. The humans were polluting the earth, wasting water and polluting the air, and the gods decided that it was time to intervene. Zeus, the supreme ruler of the cosmos, gathered his fellow Olympians and proposed a solution, a great flood to wipe out humanity and start anew. But before the deluge could begin, however, one human caught the attention of the gods, Deucalion and Pyrrhus, a virtuous couple who lived in the mountains. Moved by their piety, the gods decided to spare them and send them a message explaining that the flood was imminent. The couple took heed and built a massive chest, just as the gods instructed, and survived the great flood. When the waters receded, Deucalion and Pyrrhus emerged from the chest and became the progenitors of a new race of humans. The quest for gold. The golden age of humanity was coming to an end, and the gods knew that it was time for a new chapter. As the earth began to cool, the humans grew stronger and smarter, and their cities and infrastructure became more advanced. But as they delved deeper into the mysteries of the cosmos, the gods became concerned that the humans might discover their true nature and usurp their power. To prevent this, the gods crafted a new test for humanity, a series of labors that would push them to their limits and determine their fate. One of the most famous of these labors was the quest for gold, a challenge given to the hero Jason and his band of Argonauts. The task was simple: retrieve the golden fleece from the land of Colchis and bring it back to Iolcus. But what the gods did untell Jason and his crew was that the fleece was guarded by a fearsome dragon with teeth like swords and wings like a hawk. Undeterred, Jason and his crew set sail across the sea, facing storms, monsters, and treacherous lands. Their journey was fraught with danger, but they persevered, and when they finally reached Colchis, they used their wits and courage to outsmart the dragon and claim the golden fleece. The quest for gold was not just a test of strength and endurance. It was a symbol of humanity's insatiable curiosity and desire for knowledge. The gods wanted to see if the humans could resist the temptation of forbidden knowledge and remain in the blissful ignorance of the golden age. But Jason and his crew proved that the humans were up for the challenge, and the gods had no choice but to allow them to move on to the next stage of their plan, from creation to destruction. These are just a few of the myths that shaped the ancient Greek worldview and influenced Western civilization for centuries. But why do we continue to tell these stories today? What makes them so relevant in our modern world? Well, for starters, these myths offer a fascinating glimpse into the history of humanity. They reflect our journey to understand the world around us and our place in the cosmos. They also teach us valuable lessons about life, death, love, loss, good and evil. The Greeks believed that their myths were a way to honor the gods and gain their favor. They also saw the myths as a way to teach morality and instill virtue in the next generation. But perhaps most importantly, these myths simply capture the human imagination. They remind us of the power of storytelling and the importance of preserving our cultural heritage. By telling and retelling these timeless tales, we keep the memory of ancient Greece alive and ensure that their legacy continues to inspire and amaze us for generations to come. So what do you think? Do you find Greek mythology fascinating? Which myths do you know and love? And why do you think these ancient stories continue to resonate with us today? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode of our podcast. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Greek mythology. We'll see you next time.